So you went all expenses paid?
Yeah.
Wow, nice hotel?
Well, it was a kind of a townhouse number.
When was this?
2000.
Oh, wow. Okay. And were you doing it because you were going to draw up some plans, or?
I already designed their stuff for them, and I was over there presenting it to the planning group and getting their approvals. And it was kind of cool. It was, but I was so impressed with Kauai. It was such a neat friggin' place. It was just nice.
Yeah,
so nice.
I mean, I don't think we. The number of Hawaiians that we saw, I could probably count on my hands. You know, it was people like us. You know, it's like people from the mainland.
Mostly Hawaiians over on Kauai.
Mm.
I shouldn't say mostly, but probably 50%.
All that work you did though for that client was like, what do they call pro bono? You know, you were trying to get the deal.
No, they paid me.
Oh, okay.
That was cool. It was a nice deal.
Hmm. You know what I've been meaning to ask you? There, we go to the beach. You know, we're in Ventura, obviously. We go to the beach, and along the beach is all these cool ass houses. Do you know, you being like an architect, do you like notice? Do you see it differently than like somebody like me? Like you know, you can walk by and look at this house and be like, oh, that's this. You notice the angles and you notice all these various aspects.
Yes, I can look at a lot of different structures. Right away, I can see what kind of thought went into it, and whether they're good, and genuine, or whether they're copycats or something else. Or
wow, so there's like hacky architecture.
Yeah. But I did some beach houses in Malibu.
Oh, really?
Did a couple down there.
And I feel the feeling I get when I look at, like, you know, because you go to the beach, you see a string of them. They're all very different. I mean, there's like no similarities between them to my eyes.
Well, beach house, you have specifics. The view is always, primary interest to make sure that you're optimizing the effect of the view to the various rooms that you have. And here, on a regular residential street, it's a different kind of solution. It's thinking about, what on-site amenities do you have, and how can you embellish those to make this whole ensemble something pretty special.
Were you having to consider plumbing and stuff, or you let somebody else do that?
No,
you had to consider
I had to
where
do
the
all
pipes
of that crap. Yeah, I had to do the whole ball. Electrical and plumbing. Everything has to go into the structure. And a lot of architects don't get into that much of it. They dance around on the outside with some pretty little design or something, and then let other people do the real work involved. And it's funny because when you're under construction, there needs to be some guidance there. There needs to be some overruling component that keeps things together and keeps it cohesive. And, too often, whatever the effort was is lost because of non-attention or non-ability, let's say, on the part of the architect to be involved in that. Because for me, I started out doing construction.
Oh, really?
When I was, let me think.
Hammer and screwdriver. Actually the...
Well, I went to work for a company called Santa Monica Mill. And I ended up half owning the place in just a few years. Just a few years. And it was like I learned everything there was to learn about, or mostly everything, about millwork, about how you make things with the machinery, and all of the aspects of making things come together and, building things, whether it was cabinet work or what. I was involved in that, and it was really enjoyable. I dug it. And then, okay, darling, you got it. Anyway, the activities. I'm trying to think what year. 63.
Wow.
1963 is when I sold out and went into architecture full time, and was really working for architectural firms at that point.
As a sort of freelance almost.
Well, whatever, it's a
Hey, Darla. Hey, Darla. Go. 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 I'll put some. That one. You think so?
Oh, no. It's just Grandma dragging it around.
Oh, man. Bottle's got a hole in it. More than one hole.
What happened?
I like bumped it. Went everywhere.
He got excited.
Oh.
Leslie, call her.
Man, so you started nuts and bolts. You started at a very fundamental level.
Well, what's funny is I was hired by this company, Santa Monica Mill, to do drawings.
You were a kid or what? You're like 20?
I was 18 or 19, to do drawings for them.
Yeah.
Shop drawings of
No kidding.
cabinets and whatever they were going to build. And through that, I got to know everybody and worked my way through the whole process. Worked in the shop whenever I got a chance or whenever there was opportunity. And within a year or two, I was running the place. And,
Wow, without a
top of
college
the world.
education.
Yeah,
Without a degree.
yeah. My buddy of mine, we were in the Marine Corps together, and he just could not believe it. He was, oh shit, I don't think he had a master's, but he had a degree in something, and he ended up being a professor
Wow.
at UCLA, and he's retired now and about ready to croak, I think, living up in Marin County. But, Princess! You nerd.
Did you have to learn, because I would imagine like in a college, let's say like with the degree, you'd have to learn about like Greek architecture and, Roman architecture. Do you ever have to get in any of that like information?
You study history of architecture and all of the things that, went before us. That was recorded history. I mean, there's so much. You watch any of these programs like Ancient Aliens, that alien right there is in love with.
Diane's going crazy because she can't follow you out here with Princess.
Anyway, see if you can get her in the pool.
Get it wet. Splash it.
Dad, you're teasing her.
Anyway, history was, in the early days, history of architecture was a big deal. You studied all the different temples and
Yeah.
all the other structures that went before us, and learning from some of the components and what was good and what was bad. I did quite a few. Started really in the 50s, late 50s, when architects like Neutra and Frank Lloyd Wright was still poking around.
What were they Were they kind of advancing the field?
Well,
I don't even know who those guys are.
Come on.
I don't know who they are. Good architects or revolutionary architects?
They're pretty good ones. Yeah, they're pretty good guys. There's a whole string of them that came out in the 40s and 50s and 60s that were, what did they call them? What did they do to you, little baby? Oh, what did they do to you? Oh, that eye looks so sore. Yes, it does. It looks sore.
What were they doing that was so special? Like the guys you mentioned, what were they sort of doing that was different?
Well, the conventional house was pretty much a dyed-in-the-wool pattern of spaces and assembly of those spaces into conventional, something conventional. And these guys came along and said, how about if we open it up? Open floor plan. Open these areas up. Get away from all the gingerbread, all the curlicues and all the other stuff, and just go with clean lines. And like Mies van der Rohe was a pretty famous commercial architect, and he was from oh gosh,
Something European?
Austria, or,
Yeah.
or Deutschland. Well, I'm not sure. It was
Some
somewhere
European.
over there. Anyway, he worked half his life here in the United States, and a lot of buildings that were really considered top-end modern buildings were done by him in tall buildings in Chicago, for instance, New York, some really specific nice buildings
Yeah.
that still exist today. And that was Mies van der Rohe. Neutra was a local architect that espoused this European discipline of design, more modern, more techy, and I can't remember the names of a bunch of others that were going through the same process at the time. But there's examples of their work all around. And if you go down to Palm Springs, there's all kinds of, because that's where a lot of the people with money, actors, actresses, famous people,
They want a special house.
had their things built down there, and they used some of these specific high-end architects to do their work. Was there maybe a day in and out of the airport on my way?
Oh, I see. So you weren't like in...
Where were they going from there? Minnesota, I think. I had a project in outside Minneapolis, and so I had to go there, and I did a job in Chicago. I did a number of jobs around the country that were mostly medical services,
Wow.
surgery centers, they were called. And that was kind of a big deal for a while. Oh, that feels so good. Nice and cool.
What? Alright, let's scooch
Oh,
over.
yeah.
Hi. She scooches. See what? Smacks your tail. Oh, thank you. I'll put it on there.
Yeah. I was just imagining if you were standing like in the heart of like Times Square, if you haven't already, just imagine like an architect in the middle of Times Square looking at like all the structures there. I would think like your mind would just be blowing up.
Well, it's funny. No, I did not get to Times Square in my travels over there. It's funny now that you mention it, because Should have spent more time there. But
For
the
Chicago
buildings-
too, I think there'd be some great architecture in Chicago.
Oh, there is. They're fantastic. That's where, like I was telling you earlier, Mies van der Rohe. That's where he did a bunch of his structures, and just very clean and very simple, very nice buildings. And I'm very much into that direction. I don't go for the.
And you don't necessarily mean
Frou-frou.
simple, do you? You're saying clean. Is there a difference between a clean thing and a simple design?
Well, simple can be misinterpreted. I don't know. You're talking about high-rise buildings and stuff like that. The thought that goes into them, usually, there's initial concept, what you might be trying to achieve. But then there's just a lot of thought goes into the size of the components and the repetition of different elements and how they're assembled and what they're put together. And that doesn't even touch the logistics of how they are actually built.
Yeah.
That's another story.
Deviled egg, anybody?
Oh, what service? What service?
Give it a shot.
These aren't my best work, so I wouldn't try these ones.
Do you like eggs?
I love
I
eggs.
wouldn't.
Dude,
She's
give it a
telling
shot.
you don't try them.
Because
you love eggs-
I love a deviled egg, and I would hate for your first impression of a deviled egg to be these ones.
Why? They're not
No.
that
My
great?
favorite.
They're fine.
Are you adventurous with food? Have you ever been adventurous with food?
Yes,
So like you eat like snake or octopus or some shit?
absolutely.
No, Darla.
You found my two favorites, snake and octopus.
You've had that?
Only time I ate snake was when I was out camping, and that was what was available
You caught and killed it?
for chow. Yeah,
No kidding.
yeah.
Have you ever had like elk, like an elk burger or something like that?
Bison, elk, antelope, deer.
You liked it.
Yeah.